Don Moody here with HandymanReality.com of Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. I'm here today to discuss finding a water leak in a multi-level home or a multi-level building. And what I'd really like to say is that just because you see water coming out of a ceiling somewhere doesn't necessarily mean you need to cut a hole there right away. One of the first things you need to do is actually find the device that's leaking if you can. And a good example of why I say this is because I'm in a third floor suite of a 4-story apartment building that I got a report of a water leak last night. Presenting itself on the main floor, down on the bottom floor. What I did was I went to the 4th floor and I checked inside the wall up there. I checked all of the devices on my way up. Okay, so what I did was I felt the water lines of each and every device. That means each kitchen sink, each toilet. I looked at each bathtub because the plumbing all tends to be stacked in a multi-family or multi-floor place. The plumbing tends to be stacked, bathroom on top of bathroom, kitchen on top of kitchen. That's most common. Nowadays with en-suites it's a little different, but generally that's what you get. So I went through the devices all the way up to the 4th floor. Once I got to the 4th floor, I had found no moisture on any of the water lines or any of the drains. So automatically I knew I had a problem that would be inside of the wall. So I poked a small hole in the 4th floor and I felt the insulation and it was dry. I came down to the 3rd floor here, poked a small hole in, and I found that the insulation was soaking wet. Now a lot of times I almost suspect that that's where my problem is going to be because we have a lot of pipes joining together there, all branching off of some common ones. Turns out, no, it wasn't really there. It was actually above there, yet not in the 4th floor. So, turned out that what I found was a pipe that was leaking just above the ceiling and just above the floor, or just below the floor upstairs. So what I ended up doing was, once I confirmed it was the same pipe, doing that with a measuring tape, and running the water so I could feel the pipe moving. Then once I knew the pipe I was dealing with, I cut it off down below, I cut it off up and above, and I just simply replaced that section of pipe. Now what I have is I have a hole inside of a cabinet, which is not too terrible. I can still spend some time repairing that, and this vacant suite can still get shown. I have a hole down low that I'm also going to need to repair. These are a party wall, so it needs to be restored to its fire rating. My point, like I say, is don't always go to open a hole right where you think things are. Find the leak as to the best of your ability. Shut off all the devices. If you have to, have everybody leave the house and go through device one at a time, turning them each on, feeling the water lines to ensure that the water lines themselves, the faucet's not leaking and rolling back into the wall and down. Same thing with the drains. Check all of the drains, work your way down, then go back to the top and start poking holes again. But I choose nondescript, like places that aren't really hard to repair and aren't easily seen, so that such as I chose inside of cabinets. to make the holes. Even though I could have actually gone up and just put in a little 6-inch piece up in the ceiling, would have made for a lot of work. It was easier just to open the hole in the cabinet, open the hole in the cabinet above, replace that chunk of pipe. So don't always open a hole where you see the water come out. It's often been, I've been on the main floor, seen water dripping down, and then only to go upstairs and find that that the problem wasn't even in a bathroom. Sometimes it was even up at the roof where water was hitting the pipe and getting past the flashing and then following its way all the way down to the main floor. So save yourself the extra hassles and find the actual source of the leak using deduction before you start punching holes. As an early plumber, we would have just started ripping stuff open until we actually found the leak. And that would have left a lot to have been replaced here. Because when we found water above this piping down here, we might have actually tore out the tile. So in this case, I get to repair the 2 holes, and then I'm done. I'm going to put a dehumidifier in the suite for a few days to dry the wall out. A blower as well to blow air through to make sure there's movement. In the bottom suite, I'll put a dehumidifier as well, and that will suck all of the moisture out of the walls so that I can close them up. Thank you very much. This has been Don Moody of HandymanReality.com discussing not opening walls or ceilings when you see a leak until you find the leak. Have a great day now.